Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Welcome to yet another technical webinar. Today, again, we talk about Zinnia elegans and Zinnia marylandica. We continue our deep dive into technology. The speaker is our technical expert, Ivan Posniakov, who is responsible for the tropical markets, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Pakistan. Looking forward to yet another comprehensive, technical, but inspiring story. So, Ivan, take it away. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for introduction. And I would like to say hi, hello for everybody who able to join us today, for growers and everybody welcome at this webinar, growers, flower lovers, customers, anyone who wants to see and know more information about this nice crop. And I hope you already enjoyed the nice picture on the left corner of the slides. And let's go to go through a short recap from a previous webinar. I would like to remind items that we touched last webinar. We started with the opportunity with our very nice and large Zinnia assortment, because we have already entire 5 series, very nice series, and especially the novelty from 2021 is Zydeco. It's very perfect marylandica series with a very large and very nice colored flowers, which help you to create not only nice garden view, or it will be not only in the nice patio pots and even in the large landscaping areas. And later on, we considered 5 part of success with the germination Zinnia. We talked about hygiene, pH control. We mentioned stretching control, timing, and fungicide allocation, because Zinnia sensitive to some dangerous diseases which can destroy or damage plant completely, and some diseases even not able to the plants not able to recover from some of that diseases, so that's critical. And later on, we started more in detail, like hygiene, quarantine, and I spent a lot of time on the quarantine because it's very critical items for Zinnia growing. And start with a clean greenhouse, of course, and continue with a clean condition. Substrate and material requirements for sowing and for starting a young plant production. pH control, because Zinnia is pH sensitive crop as well, because it requires little less level of pH, a little bit more acid substrate pH than most of the crops. And general condition and disease management. Of course, we talked a lot about disease and how to prevent that. And today we will start again about the 5 critical topics, but already for the young plant and ready production stage. Firstly, I will talk about viruses and hygiene again. I will make a shorter overview on that to make you more familiar with that, and to recall the items is critical to prevent viruses. Stretching control, of course, stretching control, because Zinnia is a very fast crop. It takes just only the 2 or 3 weeks to growing up in the trays, and so that's why it is very critical items as well. How to prevent the tools, how to prevent stretching, and I will tell you and explain a bit more how to avoid PGR application and how to minimize PGR application on Zinnia. Day length control. Zinnia is interesting crop. The quality of flower also depends on the day length, and of course timing. Fast crop, and today we will talk about conditions required by Zinnia on the young plant stage and the ready plant stage. And of course, we take a few minutes to recall the fungicide rotation and the most critical diseases on the ready stage of plant, because Zinnia has kid diseases and mature plant diseases. So, as of course, as a human, as a many plants, so that's why I would like to look at the diseases topic again in the ready stage of this plant production. And let's start with the hygiene. Why I talked and why I spent too much time on the hygiene? Because of course it's not only the item which is critical for Zinnia, but these items and some diseases can be dramatically danger for this crop. And if you will see these kind of scenes on the Zinnia, these kind of symptoms, you need to understand that Zinnia injured and threatened quite strong, because the viruses is incurable diseases, viruses and bacterial diseases on the especially later stage, when the plant already infected from inside, when the bacteria already interfere between the cells and in the tissue, came into the tissues, it's also uncurable. So that's why I spent too much time, and every time for most of the crop, every time I would like to repeat these advices again. And what's the sources and how to protect our plants against the viruses, bacteria, and of course against the fungus. Most of diseases, you know how to use the tool and what kind of tool to apply to prevent the plant from diseases, if you know where that spores and germs came from. And of course, we start from the left side: water, ready plants, substrate, untreated or improper substrate, all tracer materials, people. I always like to talk the people is the main vector, not insects, not wind, not water. People is the main vector for the bacteria and especially for the viruses, because we able to handle viruses on our hands with the juice of the plants. We able to handle viruses with the knives, with the any kind of tools that we use to care about the plants. We're able to care the viruses together with the plant if we carry through the location where we're producing the plants. And of course, plant residuals, any plant materials which can stay and which can be kept in the greenhouses and not clean in the proper time, because the longer plant residuals will stay in the greenhouses, the more safe condition will provide it to the spores and to the germs. For instance, you can imagine if you keep the pail of plant residuals in the plant behind of this these kind of residuals, you will find later on any kind of fungus, any kind of bacteria, and any kind of pests, of course. And of course, not forget about the weeds. When I talk about the plants and about ready plants, of course, I talking about the weeds as well. So please not forget to remove and to control and to scout any kind of weeds you can find in the greenhouse, because not many growers pay proper attention on this item. And sometime when I able to visit greenhouse of the grower, I see the even mature or blooming weeds inside the greenhouse. It's absolutely unacceptable, because the weeds is the best host of the viruses, bacteria, and the pests, of course. And if you apply chemicals on your plants, you protect. Sometimes you can forget about the weeds in the corner, and the weeds and the insects very easily will move to untreated weeds, which can be placed in your greenhouse. So that's why control the weeds and not let the hotels or host to your to diseases and to insects. Okay, what's the best practices? I put all the best practices in one slide instead of to explain it on many slides again, as I used it in the previous webinar. So my favorite advice: mind the gap. Mind the gap, and you will protect your plants perfectly. You will make a distance between the floor surface, between the ground surface in greenhouse and the plant, because if the plant will touch the ground, because as you understand, I think it's understandable clearly, all bacteria spores or fungal spores or all plant residuals which can be host already bear some kind of fungus, it's going down on the floor and it will collect it on the floor with time. So that's why I advise, and of course, open ground is unacceptable for sure. Some days ago, I received inquiry from one growers how to handle with the targets which get diseases. I thought that that was a Phytophthora or Phytophthora associated with Alternaria. I advise, of course, apply the chemicals against that diseases, but I found that plants were placed directly on the ground. This is the best way how to provide infection for the plants, because the spores can go with the water and can be absorbed with the water from the ground to the pot or to the substrate in that pot. So that's why I advise very oftenly mind the gap, provide the gap between the plant and the bottom or floor surface of the greenhouse. And another quite cheap, quite affordable, but quite very effective advices. Use one entrance, no transit, not allow people transit through a greenhouse. Protect, make a border protection from the insects which can bear any kind of viruses, bacteria, even bacteria and fungus. So use a net. Net now it's not so not so expensive, and you're able to find anytime in a market the net which able with very small holes which able to provide protection from the insects, from even from the small insects. If you provide the net, you can apply not only on the modern greenhouse, you can apply it even in the normal shading area. Just put the trunks and make a protection. If you use the trunks with a protection from the sunlight, from the strong sunlight, you can use the net very simply on the wall of this, on the perimeter of that location. And of course, antiseptic mat, very cheap, very effective way how to prevent transferring with your legs, with staff legs, any pollutions from outside place to the location where you produce in the plant. And caisson is just like a border, because the people, because the any wind flow or any immediate entrance to the greenhouse will make life of the pests and diseases very easy. You can transfer, if you apply the caisson, the rest of the pollutions will stay on the floor of the caisson, and it will provide barrier from wind flow, from airflow direct to the open entrance. It is also it is mostly effective in the normal plastic house, but it's also effective in a shading area, and not allow. Of course, it will be like a stopper for the people who would like to enter the greenhouse immediately. They have to find formerly they to before they enter the greenhouse. They need to find the entrance. So that's why caisson is a cheap and nice border, nice tool how to protect the plant from direct invasion of any kind of germs. And let's go to the hygiene, how to provide the hygiene in the greenhouse. Start with a clean area. If you not apply the cleaning activity in the end of season, you will keep all pollutions that greenhouse collected in the previous season. So that's why I advise mind the gap or also in a production and use this time. I advise to use about 3-4 weeks, about 1 month, to make this activity, I mean the cleaning activity, in this time, in this gap. And what's mean clean area? How to wash area? It's really washing procedure. Formerly, you grower have to apply chemicals which able to kill any kind of germs in an empty greenhouse. And later on, it is very necessary to wash away everything, to wash away any poisons which can came from residuals, plant residuals, and which can came from the pesticides decay. And let's go with a seedling stage. Formerly, in a previous webinar, I explained how to achieve best germination and best start for the plants. Now we will talk about how to grow on the plants. So provide a general condition and start to control stretching as soon as possible. So here you can see the common in general condition is the temperature. First one of that is the temperature. Provide difference between day and night as much as as much as I advised as advised in these recommendations. 2-3 degrees difference will will perfectly provide control of the stretching on your plants, on your zinnias. Not only on the zinnias, on many crops, 1 till 3 degrees difference between day and night temperature. Of course, at the night time, temperature should be lower, and in the daytime, it should be, of course, higher. Even if you provide difference like a 5 degrees between, here you can see the difference, the highest difference displayed here is 4 degrees between 19 and 23. You able, it's not it will not be issue if you provide a bit longer, the bit bigger difference between day and night temperature. It will help to it also will help to prevent the stretching of the crop. And light intensity should be rather high. It's about 30 up to 40 kilolux or thousands lux, and not overwater zinnias, because if you will keep substrate only in a moisture level 4, plant will be able to will provide it with water quite well and will be able to absorb the water every time and let substrate dry between the irrigation. So that's why I keep here I displayed here moisture level between 4 and 2. 2, it's mean substrate closer to complete dry out, not ready dry out, but closer to complete dry out. So it's still brown in a color, not gray. But if you start to squeeze some part of the substrate, a small part of the substrate, it will apart, but form the many small pieces. It not will apart in a dust, but it will apart in a small pieces. And let's go with the stretching, the best tool of the stretching control. Of course, if the growers start to think about the stretching control, they initially start to think on the PGRs. But I would like to advise to use as less as possible PGRs with your plants. Of course, you can use the PGRs on the zinnia, but I advise to provide the proper food and proper EC to let zinnia absorb all elements properly. And of course, check EC it made to say EC is the same as a salt or fertilizer concentration in the water and in the substrate. Check EC before you give the soup to the plant, before you give the food to the plant. Of course, you can imagine if the chief prepare a soup, he have to taste it before he offer it to the guests, because he need to know, is it delicious or not? Is it really delicious or not really delicious? So the same situation with the mineral food. To be confined, to be confident, you provided proper amount of the fertilizer. Check fertilizer before in the water before you apply this fertilizer with water with the fertilizer to the plant, and never apply clean water on the ready plants and on the of course on the seedling stage as well. And check EC in pH in the substrate to understand how plant absorbing this fertilizer. Because if I talking about EC, some grower can think about EC in the substrate, and some grower can think about an EC in the water. But this is different. This is not the same EC. It's a different EC. And how to explain the meaning of this EC, I prepared this slide to understand it maybe more in details. If you dissolve the, here you can find the dissolving of the fertilizer in the water. You check in EC and you know how much fertilizer you already add to the water. Yeah, and after you apply to the plants, fertilizer will move with the water to the soil. Plants start to absorb that fertilizer, and the rest of the fertilizer will stay in the substrate. It's like the people when the human start to eat his nice lunch or his nice breakfast, some of the residuals will stay in the plate. If the human very hungry, he will eat a lot, and he will try to eat everything, and especially if the food very delicious. And if the human not very hungry, for instance, if you go to the restaurant already after you get some snacks on the street, you will not eat a lot, or sometimes some people can get sick and not really hungry, and not feels really hungry on that time. So with the plants, because the plants is a living organism, is a biological organism, he has the same habit as a human, as animals, and so the fertilizer consumption depends on the plant statement, on the plant health. If the plant really healthy, if the plant feeding well, if the plant has normal and efficient quantity, enough quantity of the light, it start to feed well. It's very hungry. And so by the controlling of the EC and pH in the substrate, especially EC, now we're talking about EC. If you control this EC, and what is this EC in the substrate? Is the rest of the fertilizer in the substrate. You will know how plant consume that fertilizers. And you can conclude how to change EC in the water. If the plant feed well, you need to add proper amount of fertilizer, or you need to apply a bit more. And if you plant not able to eat all fertilizer, if you see the EC will increase up to 1.3, 1.5, it means plants not really in healthy condition. You have to start to think what's happened, what's wrong with that plant. Or for instance, you know already that now is cold condition without proper quantity of light, and the plant not need too much fertilizer. So in this, or maybe you apply too much fertilizer formerly. So in that condition, you have to decrease the fertilizer. So that's why I advise, and that's why I would like to pay your attention on this slide, and to understand what's the difference between EC in the water and EC in the substrate. Okay, I think this explanation quite clear. And how to control? Why I advise to feed your plant well? Here you can see on the lower picture Zinnia, which provided with a different quantity of fertilizer, or with a different quantity of fertilizer. It started from zero additional level to normal, and grows up to 2.3. Honestly, for Zinnia 2.3, you see it's already quite critical. And here in this picture, you can see real reaction of the Zinnia on the salts or fertilizer, because fertilizer it's also salts. It's a mix of the different kind of salts. And here you can see the reaction of the plants on the EC, on the different quantity of fertilizer. The higher EC applied in the water, the lower size, the lower height of the plant. So how it works? Sometimes it can stretch. You provide more food, but plants start to slowing down with the stretching. How it works? Here again, explanation. Here you can see first, let's look at the right side of the picture. On the right side, you see the stretched cells. This is a picture. I think you can recognize the cells here. I'm not very perfect painter, but I try to display the here. Try to paint here the cell. This is a cell nucleus. This is a vacuole, cytoplasm, cell wall, and membrane. And how works fertilizer? Water coming to the plant with the difference of the salts concentration. Difference on the salts concentration. Here you can see the C is a salts concentration, inner compound, and concentration of outer compound. Outer compound is our EC we providing to the plant. If you here you can see the difference. I displayed very big inner or maybe simple big thing of the concentration inside the plant, and smaller C character means concentration of outer compound. If you provide less concentration of fertilizer, the outer concentration also will be decreased, and you receive the big difference between inner concentration and outer concentration. And this difference, it forms made to say potential, the potential of work. And this potential used by water, water inside the plant to make pressure on the cells. And here with the red arrows, you can see how the pressure, inner pressure, move, and how pressure make action, make force on the cells, and this provides cell stretching. So in the left case, if you can turn your attention on the left side of this slide, you can see the approximate the same concentration. So if you provide a higher concentration of fertilizer, outer concentration will be mostly the closer to inner, and it provides a less potential. And so water will go into the cells and will press and will make additional action on the cell wall from inside less, in less, how to say it, in less quantity, in less level. So the same thing, like you can imagine if you drop the stone from the lower, sorry, sorry for this technical technical issue. If you you can imagine if you drop stone from not very high not very high level on the ground, the stone will press and will squeeze or can damage anything, not really strong, not in really strong level. But if you take the same stone and go on the 100 level, on 100 floor, and drop from 100 level, you will see this stone can make much more damage when in the previous situation. So this is about potential. If you provide a higher potential, you provide a more strong action of the any kind of processes like a water pressure inside the cells. So if you provide a less potential, if you provide less difference between the concentration, you will provide the less stretching, because the water will provide inner pressure in the less quantity. Let's go to the example. As we talk about the Zinnia, Zinnia requires only 3 weeks to produce young plants before transplanting. And here you can see the same example, how to provide a fertilizer. Fertilizer can be provided with the NPK, but sometimes only one time in 2 weeks, or maybe once in the growing process of the young plants, you can apply calcium and magnesium fertilizer instead of NPK. Also, calcium and magnesium, especially calcium, in the this is the first role of the calcium. Calcium provides less, how to say, more strong plants, more strong tissues, more strong cell walls, and provides less stretching on the plants. Let's go to the day length sensitivity. It's another successful factor how to receive the plant with a good flower quality, because doubleness of a flower, you can find a very nice example on my background, really double flowered Zinnia swizzle. And how to receive that kind of flowers, as because the Zinnia is day length sensitive crop, the Zinnia should be provided with a quite a shorter day condition. What means quite short day condition or short day condition? Short day condition is a day length lower than 10 hours or closer to 10 hours. Also, it's not problem if you in your location has a day length about 12 or less 12 hours. It also can be considered, and Zinnia also in this kind of day length, Zinnia also provide nice flower. Most of situation when you have a short days all the time of your growing process, or if you have a short day and later on you have a long day, you will provide the better flower quality. Or if you provide a long day all the way, you will receive also nice quality of the flower, but with a more strong plants, a more bigger plants, because a plant will take longer time, because as I said, Zinnia is a short day plant. So it means Zinnia start to make a flower bud in a short day condition. In long day condition, it's the long day condition provides more vegetative growth for the Zinnia. So that's why if you would like to use Zinnia in a big patio pots, you can provide a long day all the way your growing process. So if you would like to provide more compact plant, provide short day. Of course, I understand most of the growers not able to control short day on the long day, but I really advise to avoid the situation if you provide a long day in the beginning and later on short day in the after transplanting. In this case, if you provide a really sensitive difference, you will receive mostly single plants, single flowered plants. But we are happy because Swizzle you can find in my background, and the Magellan is less day sensitive. So even in the situation when you have in the beginning long day, but honestly, as Zinnia as it short is a very quick, very quick crop, it not receive very big difference within their within its growth process. So that's why I just only advise not to use really big difference between long day in the beginning and the short day in the ready plants or finishing of the crop, of a production process, sorry. And transplanting. Okay, we already received the plants, and we're ready to transplant that. And I would like to pay attention on the substrate. And of course, today I will talk again about the sterility and about the hygiene on the plant. So here I put some example of the substrate type or substrate compounds that can be used as a component of substrate on the Zinnia. And I put it maybe from the most common up to most rare useful. But I would like to highlight two type of substrate which very maybe most comfortable to the Zinnia and provide more comfortable condition to Zinnia roots is a white peat and rice husk. Why I talking about these two type of substrate? These two type of substrate has mostly a lower pH than others. Cocoa peat mostly has a relative high pH, and the bark also provides little bit higher pH of the substrate. But a rice husk, it's really pH little bit acid in pH reaction. So that's why I advise to use the white peat if it is available in your location, or rice husk. But if it is not available, you can use, of course, natural component of substrate like real soil. I mean because many growers in their practice, especially in tropical countries, using normal soil as a component of a substrate. Then they specifically gain from the miners who is providing them that substrate on a long-term condition. In this case, I really advise to use a mixture between the natural soil, natural components, and artificial component like a rice husk, or special prepared components like a rice husk, or white peat. Or if you're not able to get a white peat in your location, you can apply quite maybe popular last time popular component of substrate like a wood fiber. Wood fiber also provides quite low pH, and it is very a rather affordable substrate component in Southeast Asia. It's more available in the market, and it provides also nice condition for the root. And of course, I advise to use lignin agents to make substrate more porous, to make substrate more ventilated, because, as you know, root needs oxygen because it's not able to make a photosynthesize process. So that's why I advise to add the perlite at least on the level of 20%. It's not so big quantity to make roots to provide better aeration condition to the roots. And so the normal particle size is about 5 till 20 millimeters. And of course, I talked already about the pH. pH range in the substrate should be on the level 5.5, 5.8. And not press substrate too much when you transplanting the plants in the pot in the plastic bag, in a polybags. Some grower call it polybags. This condition will make root of the zinnias more healthy and provide better growth of the plant. And what's about the hygiene? I know many growers like to use instead of artificial, natural components of the substrate, like a rice husk. It is good component, but that components can bear some critical bacteria and fungus inside of their particles. And to prevent, to really easily prevent infection especially by the bacteria, I advise to use trichoderma-based chemicals on bacterial-based chemicals on the base of bacterial subtilis on bacterial amyloliquefacients. Uh, it is available on the market in many kind of products, and I really advise to use the products when you prepare the mixture of the substrate. You can add it in the time when you prepare this mixture. It will be mixed with different components quite well, and after preparing of substrate, it already will be protected from the very strong and very very dangerous for the Zinnia bacteria as a pseudomonas. And let's go about the growing condition. Here you can see very nice root, even obtained with a real natural substrate with the red soils, which common for the some of India regions. And if you provide proper condition in the substrate, if you provide protection, in this picture on the background, maybe not very clear, you will see the main protection is a plastic that cover ground surface. And in this picture, you also can see the some pots on the background, which is placed not on the soil. Honestly, it's not clear visible, but in that location, grower applied plastic for the soil covering. And this is the best protection, one of the affordable and the best protection your plants from the bacterial diseases. And the day temperature also can maintain on the level in the daytime 23 up to 25. And of course, it's not problem if the Zinnia receive bit hotter temperature like 26, because Zinnia is really hot lover, like a Catranthus. So I really advise it use it in the tropical regions. Night temperature should be lower, and of course, if you provide a difference, like we talked about the same topic on the seedling stage, you will provide more shorter growth of the plants. And of course, if you grow in Zinnia in a short day condition, you will receive the more compact plants, because plants will start to blooming more faster in the short day condition. And of course, provide the proper moisture level if it's available. If you place the zinnias not in outside condition, in the protected condition, I advise to provide the moisture level alternated between 4 and 2, and let the substrate little bit dry between the irrigation. And let's go to the plant protection, because it's mostly last item in most of my webinars. But before we back to protection, I really would like to advise again, feed your plant well. If you feed your plant in a normal level, if you provide them normal level of the fertilizer, here I put the fertilizer level at least on the 50, 75 ppm of nitrogen. And you see in this concentration, you see should be on the level 1.5, about 1.7. And you will get the plants you can observe here on the right picture. It's quite compact. It's Weasel cherry library. Again, this is a real plant, the real picture from the picture taken from last year. And again, I would like to remind you about the difference between you see it is necessary, critically necessary, to measure EC in the water before you give the water to the plants, before after you dissolve the fertilizer, and check EC concentration in the substrate. So that's why you will provide and you will protect your plants and avoid the situation when you need to make reanimation of the plants, like top application or spraying some micro elements. This is not normal practice, but in some situation, especially if you're not controlling EC in the substrate, this situation can come to your plants, and this already will be made to say emergency for the plant, and you need to reanimate your plant with a spraying application of micro elements, or even sometime it is necessary to apply the nitrogen. And now we already came to plant protection. As I announced formerly, Zinnia on the mature stage already finished with the most of the kid diseases, and they infected by the different type of diseases in general. The most popular diseases are, of course, Alternaria, because Alternaria are able to infect zinnias anytime, in any stage of the development. Powdery mildew, this is a new item for the zinnia, and Rhizoctonia. Rhizoctonia also dangerous even in the high humidity condition. So here I offer different type of compounds, different type of active ingredient, and I really advise to rotate the ingredient when you apply within a growing season or through a growing season, through years. And if you, what's happened if you will apply the same active ingredients? You will select more strong bacteria and fungus in your location. If you will apply the same active ingredient, you will select the resistant form of the fungus in your location, and later on you will need to apply higher concentration of the same chemicals, or even fungus and bacteria can become complete resistant against this kind of chemical, and you need to find the new chemical urgently with the new ingredients urgently. But if you provide the rotation, so for instance, if you apply 3 times or 4 times the chemicals with the same active ingredient, you need to replace it for the 5 on the 5 application on the new chemicals with another active ingredient. This is a very critical items when we're talking about chemicals and fungicides and insecticides application. And rotate it on the constantly. So if you apply 3 times and change on another active ingredient, after 3 times of another of the fungicides with another active ingredients, you have to change it again and repeat it as long as you apply these chemicals. And of course, some of the chemicals can be advised as a prophylactic. You're able to advise some of the chemicals mentioned as a by a plus in the last column as a prophylactic to avoid invasion fungus and infection by fungus of your plant. And of course, not forget to check phytotoxicity. If you apply the new chemicals or new active ingredient, just try it with a few plants before you will apply on the entire quantity of plants in your location. And about Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas is specific disease, is caused by bacteria. Normally, it appears on the plant like a brown spots. And honestly, if you able to scout it, and you will find it quickly, if you find the first spots on the plants, on the leaves, you're able to cure your plants quite faster. It is possible to apply copper basic chemicals like copper hydroxide chloride or copper sulfate. You can apply zinc phosphate. It's also active against the bacteria. So against the many bacteria, and agricultural antibiotics like streptomycin, or it's also apply bacterial biological protection materials to avoid and also you can apply biological protection to avoid and to use it like a preventive protection, and of course avoid the situation displayed in the picture, to avoid the dripping and avoid the place the major plant above the zinnia on the same location. And of course not forget to make a gap in the production, to use this gap to cleaning greenhouse surface, floor surface, and the bench surface. Thank you for your attention. I think today we finalize a webinar sooner, and you're not boring a lot because I understand it sometimes it's difficult to receive so many information in one time. Thank you very much for your attention, and please not forget to reach out your local key account managers. Amjad Iqbal, Gautam Sangle, or you can ask me if you have any kind of problem with your plants. And please reach out to understand about our assortment and our technical advice more with the QR code on the Syngenta flower site. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ivan. I think, again, a very clear story. Nevertheless, if there are any questions, feel free to use the Q&A button. We have some time to answer a few questions. Let's see, one is popping up. Hey, thank you. So you can enjoy a lot of cake that's floating around, Ivan, with the icons. Then thanks everybody for attending. We will share the deck and the recordings afterwards. And then I wish you all a very nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.